Lab number 7.2. In this lab, we will integrate mobile quality assurance service inside our app. We'll be using service on the Bluemix, so you should have the Bluemix account. In case you don't, please pass the lab number 19. We'll also use the command line interface, and we will use not Eclipse test editor for integrating the quality assurance, and we will be focusing on the same hybrid app that we were doing in the series of labs. This is the comrade application. So we'll continue implementing the quality assurance in this hybrid application. This is Cordova project hybrid app, and we will include the quality assurance in it without the Eclipse part, so without the standard procedure of how it should be done when you're downloading the SDK for Worklight specifically for Eclipse. So let's get started. First of all, we need to open our browser and navigate to Bluemix. Afterwards, we need to log in on Bluemix and create a service instance. So first of all, the login procedure. Now when we logged in Bluemix, let's go to catalog and find their mobile quality assurance. It should be under mobile section. Here we go, mobile quality assurance. So because we have a trial account for now, we can just use this service in a trial mode. So you shouldn't change any values, just click use. So now we have an instance of our mobile quality assurance service, and it's time to create an app. Let's name it Comrade. This is our application. Click enter and add the platforms to our application. We are now only using Android, so we'll have only Android platform on quality assurance service. Just like that. So now, as you can see, we have two options. We have pre-production and production. Actually, there are two different SDKs. There can be two different SDKs, or you can set up them differently. We'll be interested now in pre-production usage, so we should click on download SDK. So it should open in pop-up. We can allow opening a pop-up and try again. And it will navigate actually us to Knowledge Center, where we can get the SDK. So we are interested in JavaScript SDK for Worklight. Click on download and you will be able to see the instructions. As I said at the beginning, these instructions and this way of installing quality assurance I support only for Eclipse environments, but because we are using the command line interface and we are using a different text editor, but we still want to use quality assurance, I will show you how to do it with the command line. So first of all, I need to download the same SDK. Just click download, it will download the file called mqa blah 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 .vlc. So open it in the file browser and rename this file actually to something like zip. It will allow us to extract it right here, and we will have a folder inside which we will have apps, then app ID, common.js, and file mqa.js. So actually this file is what we needed. and we can just copy this file and pass inside our dev workspaces comrade, then www and gs. So now when our MQA.js is inside our workspace, we can go to the text editor, open our www folder and index.html file, and include this MQA.js inside. So it will do most of the things, but we also should do an init connection. So we should connect to quality assurance service on the Bluemix, and we will do it inside index.js file right after our common init. To understand how it should work, we can go back to our knowledge center and select the part that says about installing JavaScript SDK for Worklight. So we are interested in starting Worklight session page, on which, as you can see, there is the code example of how it should look, how the session startup should look. So we can just copy this code and paste it under welcome on init, somewhere here, for example. So we have MQA start session, the version number, this will be passed to the MQA. And then we need to have an application key. We don't need the iOS version, we need just Android, but we need to have a key. For that, let's go back to dashboard and click on show application key. As you can see, here is a key that we need to copy and pass here inside the application key. Now we can save this file, and there is one more important thing that we really want to validate the mode. You can start a session and you can launch the quality assurance in a different modes. So one of them is the QA modes, another one is the market mode, and there is also silent mode. For now we will use QA mode. Of course you can do the knowledge center to understand the difference and so on, but just to save up time we will just be using this QA mode. And we'll also add something like shake equal to true. This will allow us to launch the bug reports or feedback if we will change the market QA mode to market mode, because the feedback is not available in QA mode. We'll be able actually to grab that by shaking our device. We'll launch that process. In case you will test this not on emulator but on connected real device, this will work perfectly. Alternatively, we can assign MQA bug to a specific button, like create a button and assign it to that. But first of all, let's add some plugins. So for that, we'll open terminal, not to mess with our terminal downside in ED, and navigate to dev workspaces, and then comrade app, and using command mfp Cordova plugin add. We'll need to add some basic plugins that are required by quality assurance. So one of them is battery status, to be able to receive information about battery level. Next thing is device motion and device orientation, to be able to say which orientation of device we have and so on. File and file transfer, to be able to transfer logs and save them on the device, save pictures on the device and so on. We also need media capture to be able to take the screenshot, and we need vibration to be able actually to assign the shaking event to a specific action to launch our bug reporting process. So with that, we're selecting them using the space and clicking enter. It will start installing our plugins, and in a few seconds we'll be able to start the emulator and launch the application. So we don't need anymore this terminal, we can go back to ours. Let's wait until Android emulation will be started up. So we have it running, and now basically we can using command mfp Cordova emulate -p, that will say the platform Androids, launch the application on our emulator. So here we go. We have the login, quality assurance login screen appeared. Actually, it's not a real login screen. We just need to indicate ourselves to record the session from our name. Of course, this feature won't be present in the market mode, so nothing will interrupt your app in the market mode. But just for QA, it's really good to indicate who exactly is testing your app right now. Because I'm registered on a Bluemix under my name, so as you can see, I'm seeing my name here. I can add also another team members, but we'll talk a bit later about this. Basically, when I'm clicking on myself, I will start the session recording under myself. And now we can actually either get inside, either, for example, check the logs. Let's go to the console and open inspection device tab to try to check what's happening with our app. So we connected to server. We don't put any logging stuff when connected to MQA, so it's not showing in this console. It's capturing in Android Logcat. But we can check if MQA is working fine using the MQA and something like is ready. Yes, returned true. It means that MQA libraries are loaded and ready to submit the bug reports and so on. And the second thing that we can use is setup to make sure that connection with the server is active. Yes, so exactly the same way, if we don't have this shaking capability available in emulator, we can actually submit the bug report. Just instead of MQA setup, we can launch MQA bug. So as you can see, it opened the window for us with the bug reporting, where we can describe a problem. At least it should be 10 characters. This is by default settings, something like this. And as you can see below there is also a screenshot that we can modify. But as you probably noticed, the screenshot is not perfect. To be honest, the MQA is much better in native presentation than in JavaScript. So if you have a chance, make sure that you're using the native MQA for Android or iOS rather than JavaScript. But for basic things, JavaScript will be okay. So for example, I can say, I can with my finger point something out, with the mouse, sorry, and click done. Then click report, and the report should be sent to a server. Let's go back to a browser, to our dashboard on Bluemix, click on the sessions, and we can get inside. So actually this is how the quality assurance console looking like. As you can see, we had one session, the duration was 3 minutes. And if we will go on the main page by clicking overview, we'll be able to see some statistics. Afterwards there will be some charts if we will have, of course, more than one session. And we have our latest bug report with our screenshot inside. So we can click read more and get into details and take a look on battery level or the device and so on. So basically this is how it's working. If you will connect the real device, there will be much more information about device, including the unique device ID and so on. Much more information about network in case you connect into Wi-Fi and a signal level and so on. But for emulator, just the basic things, of course. You can also take a look on mfp.help demo section to find out about the builds, distribution of your apps to beta testers, and of course the production capabilities like feedback and crash reporting, and very important and cool thing, user sentiment analysis that will help you to actually analyze what people are saying about your app in Google Play or Marketplace from Apple. But basically this is not a task for this particular lab. We finished what we were supposed to do, and on this step, lab number 72 is finished. Thank you.